Hi, good people. It's Amy from Savor Salvage Scent, and I hope you're doing great. It is a kind of typical late August, super hot day in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to do this video quickly, get out for a morning walk before it gets too hot. I thought today I would talk to you about just 4 perfumes I have from Versace in my collection. Before I do that, hello to those of you who are new to the channel. This mostly focuses on all things perfume and fragrance related. And to those of you returning, thank you so much for encouraging me and keeping the conversation going. If you haven't yet, I hope you'll consider clicking the red subscribe button so that we can stay in touch. And if you would give this video a thumbs up, it will help my channel a lot if you're so moved. So, I thought I would talk to you just about the 4 Versace perfumes or scents that I own, and as I thought about kind of what unites them, I think for all of them, for me, they're kind of more than meets the eye, or I should say more correctly, more than meets the first sniff. It's interesting with all of these except for one. At first I was kind of like, and then minutes later I was like, oh no, this is really good, this is interesting. So I'm going to go in order of how old they are. So one of my first loves in perfume was Versace Blonde. I actually had a big bottle of this, went through it, I would say, in the early 2000s. This was first released in '95, and I'll just say, if you're not a white floral lover, you probably won't love this. Look at this bottle. So this is sadly discontinued. I kind of fought hard to find this old bottle at a good price. This is a ½ ounce, but this will last me a long time because it's very, very strong, wonderful, heady. You can still find bottles for, I would say, what you would pay for an average designer perfume these days retail. So really worth getting. I just think it's so gorgeous. People are on the fence about whether or not they like Versace's kind of insignia and look, but I think it's gorgeous. I love the Greek kind of key look. I love this insignia. I just think it's really beautiful. So let's talk more about the perfume. I'm actually going to dab some on. This is released in '95. The nose is Natalie. I think it's Feisthauer. I'm not actually familiar with the person. The top notes are gardenia, violet, pittosporum, neroli, and bergamot. The mid notes are tuberose, narcissus, ylang ylang, and carnation. And the base notes are civet, benzoin, and musk. It's heaven. To me, it's totally heaven. What comes out most to me is tuberose. Definitely I get a little bit of some of these other things. Like I can definitely sense the neroli, the gardenia. Now, I'm a huge carnation lover. I wouldn't say it's really prominent here, but I think the things like carnation, civet, benzoin, the violet, etc., they just give it a roundness or a composed feel. It's really beautiful. So it's not just like wearing, let's say, a white floral oil. It's definitely something more, and it's kind of magical. And that's what I mean by, when you first dab this, you might think, oh, this is just another white floral. It just wears so beautifully. It's sexy. It's got something more. It's just, it's greater than the sum of its parts. So Versace Blonde. Next would be Versense, I believe. No, the Dreamer actually was next. Just so you know, okay, first, this is marketed men. Look at me, wearing it, loving it. Been wearing it for, God, probably, I don't know, 10 years at this point. I love it. It was first released in '96. So you know, it got reformulated, I think, in the last few years. So if you're looking to pick this up based on my review, pick up an older bottle. This was created by Jean-Pierre Berthaud in 1996. The top notes are lavender, sage, and mandarin. The mid notes are tobacco, rose, carnation, and geranium. And the base notes are tonka, fir, vetiver, and cedar. for those of you who are interested in learning more, I can link a whole video about this scent. But long story short, I was this has happened to me like a handful of times in my life. I was in a store and somebody had broken a bottle of this and I could smell it and it was amazing. This is one where when you first smell it or first spray it, it is kind of almost too much for me. It does smell kind of like, I would say very typically barbershoppy male for a minute or two. It's kind of strong. When this thing dries down though, oh my gosh, I would say this is not your average tonka and this is not your average lavender. So when this dries down, it is heavenly. The mandarin is really strong at first when you spray it. You know, the citrus, it almost smells like a barbershop scent at first, but when it dries down, the tonka and the lavender just come out and it's smooth and heavenly. I love this before bed. It's wonderful. So Versace is the Dreamer, and I would say try to get an older bottle because I've heard the reformulation is not so hot. Next would be Versense. I have to be honest, I was first drawn to this because of its wonderful green color. And I kind of had read that this is not your basic citrus, and I'm really glad that I sprayed it because, again, when you first spray it, even at the store, I might have sprayed this and been like, I don't know. But once it dries down, it's so, so good. So this is, to me, one that does really great in the heat, although it could be a signature scent all year long. It was first released in 2009. I don't know the nose. I could not find out who the nose was. The top notes are bergamot, citrus, mandarin, fig, and pear. The mid notes are cardamom, lily, jasmine, narcissus, and the base notes are cedar, olive tree, musk, and sandalwood. I have to give it to Versace Perfumes. They use some elements that I love that don't get used a lot, like carnation and narcissus. Not these days anyways. What comes out most in this is, it's green to me. It's very, very green. So the color's not a mistake. You can smell the citrus, but it smells, it's interesting because lime isn't listed here, but it smells limey to me. And then you get a little bit of pear, a little bit of like that olive leaf I get. You get a little bit, I mean, it's funny, you can smell almost all of these notes actually, but it's not super strong. However, it does have personality. So this is a scent I love to wear in the warmer months when I still want something that has a little personality. It's just, yeah, again, it's not your average citrus. I think it's very, very interesting. So Versace Versense. And again, I think this one is marketed to women, but I'm telling you, anybody could wear this. It's gorgeous. Last but not least, I have talked about this perhaps, I think just once or twice before, Versace Femme. This is a smaller roller ball. The full bottle's gorgeous. It's really sculptural and cool. This is the only perfume I've ever bought based on a strip in a magazine. Usually I find those to be awful. I don't know, whatever it is that they use to adhere it. They all kind of tend to smell the same to me. And part of that is because a lot of the ones that make it to magazine strips are kind of like commercial and have a lot in common. But here's what stood out for me. I like grassy scents, and I could immediately smell clover, and I couldn't believe it because that is not something that I find to be popular, especially in designer scents. So I ran right out and got this. I thought it was so cool. This was created by Khalees Becker. The nose, great nose. Created in 2017. The top notes are granny apple, black currant, clover, forget-me-not, and shiso. So really, really, all of those things are very herbal and aromatic, I would say. Even the black currant, you would think that would be fruity. To me, it's as vegetal as it is fruity. The mid notes are peach, rosehip, petalia, which is a Givaudan chemical I've learned since. I think they say it smells like peony and a few other things. Rose and jasmine, and then the base notes are musk, whitewoods, styrex, and patchouli. Again, this is another one where by quick sniff you could just be like, oh, it's a real grassy green perfume. As it dries down, it gets softer. It almost gets vanillic for me. But the clover really comes out and I think is so, so unique. So Dylan Blue Femme, really great. This is another one where perhaps it's a little fruitier than the average male marketed perfume, but I think if you liked grassy things, anybody would love this who likes kind of grassy herbal things. So those are my 4 Versace perfumes. I think, again, more than meets the eye or first sniff. There are a lot of Versace scents I have not tried that I would love to. The one, what is it called? Noir, that's supposed to be coconutty. I've heard those have had really very different reformulations too, so I've been kind of afraid to try it. But I'd love to hear more from you as far as like which ones you think really stand out the most or most interesting, and if you're wearing any Versace. All right, cheers. I hope you have a great day in spite of the heat or whatever challenges you might be enduring wherever you are, and hope to talk soon. Cheers, bye.